It is the 6th of February 2016. It is weekend edition of Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo, live on TV1 and Shakti TV. And I'm Joel Outskun. We start off tonight with a look at your headlines. Indian Foreign Minister concludes her official visit to Sri Lanka while the UN Human Rights Chief arrives in the country. Opposition politicians perform a religious ritual. Investigations into the kidney transplant racket takes new course. Sri Lanka bags 4 golds, 10 silvers, 7 bronze medals at day 1 of the South Asian Games. And on to our top story this evening, Indian External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, who is on an official 2-day visit, called on President Maithripala Sirisena today.
The Indian minister had extended the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's wishes on appreciating the Sri Lankan government's programs to President Sirisena at the meeting. Sushma Swaraj had noted that the statement made by President Sirisena to Parliament recently on building peace and reconciliation among all communities for the development of the country was commended by the Indian government. The President had extended his gratitude to the government of India for supporting Sri Lanka at decisive moments. The Indian Foreign Minister had said that India's policy is to have close ties with its neighbours and Sri Lanka is given a priority. Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj inaugurated the Rise of Digital India exhibition today at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall. The event was organised by the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka.
It is important for both of us to take advantage of the opportunities that the new digital world offers. She said that there are enormous opportunities of cooperation between the two countries in the field of information and digital technologies. India has made significant progress in the information technology sector, and I convey our readiness to assist Sri Lanka in this sector. For example, we are ready to set up an information technology park in Sri Lanka that could attract investments in this important sector. Both sides agreed to explore this issue further. I am aware that Sri Lanka too has been focusing on promoting information and communication technologies for socio-economic development and has achieved notable success in various fields.
Indian External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj met with former President Chanduka Bandaranaike Kumaratunga at the official residence of the former President in Colombo. Sushma Swaraj then met with the opposition leader R. Sambandhan, leader of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, Mawe Senadiraja and several others for discussions.
The Foreign Minister has assured us that India will continue to remain committed to the just resolution of the problems of the Tamil-speaking people in Sri Lanka. India's efforts will be a continuing process to bring about a reasonable solution. We discussed about the fishermen's issue. We told her that the main problem was that Indian fishermen were coming with their bottom trawlers here and fishing, and thereby causing immense destruction to the fishing resources in the north. And we said that the only authority that can possibly stop the Indian fishermen coming and engaging in such activity was the Indian government, and that the Indian government must take such action and prevent these fishermen coming here with their bottom trawlers and fishing.
She later held meetings with the Chief Minister of the Northern Province, Hafiz Nazir Ahmed, and Minister of National Coexistence, Dialogue and Official Languages, Mano Ganeshan. She left the island this evening, concluding her 2-day official visit.
And on our developing story tonight, we touch on a story that made it to the headlines this evening. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Saeed Ra'ad Al Hussein, arrived in the island this morning.
Prince Zaid, who is on a 4-day official visit to Sri Lanka, was welcomed by Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira. Following his arrival in Colombo, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights spoke to reporters.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I am delighted to be here in Colombo. This is my first trip to Sri Lanka. I've been looking forward to coming, and I'm looking forward to meeting both the highest officials of the state as well as the representatives of all communities. I will be listening to everything that they have to say, and look forward to very constructive discussions in the days to come. I will keep the press informed, and hopefully by the end of the visit we can have a lengthy exchange. At this stage it's too early to take questions because I still have the meetings to come. So I look forward to seeing you in the next couple of days, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you this morning. Thank you.
UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Said Raad Al Hussein called on Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira this afternoon. The High Commissioner will meet the President, the Prime Minister, the Opposition Leader and several other officials during his stay. According to the UN office, in addition to the capital Colombo, the High Commissioner will also visit Jaffna, Trincomalee and Kandy.
Meanwhile, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights also visited the UN compound in Colombo and met with the UN Resident Coordinator Una Macaulay and the heads of UN agencies in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, in more local news, the National Freedom Front protested this evening against the arrival of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Prince Said Raad Al Hussein. The group marched from the Lipton Circus and reached the UN office in Tumulla, Colombo and engaged in the protest. Leader of the National Freedom Front, Vimal Veerawansa, and several other heads of the party were seen at the protest. Police had set up barricades on the road opposite the UN office in Colombo. The protesters remained for several hours at the location and then dispersed. On the story that made it to the headlines, a group of opposition politicians observed a religious ritual at the Sinigama Devale today against certain actions of the government.
Those who took part in the ritual marched to the Devala from Hikkaduwa.
We have gathered here today to call for an end to the arbitrary and undemocratic era where cases are filed against leaders who made political decisions, and for bringing the High Commission to the country as a mark of betrayal and not for protecting the independence and freedom of the country. We will continue with this process. We will spread this protest across the nation. We hope that everyone will come together and work towards the protection of this country.
Another group had organized a program to smash coconuts against the parties that organized this ritual. The program was organized by the Patriotic National Front. The group's attempts to march to Sinigama from Ambalangada was foiled by the police.
I too must make a statement here. Everyone has the right to assemble. However, the police cannot allow two groups with opposing views to meet at one place. You may have a good objective in mind and you can go there after they leave, or you can go on another day.
The group thereafter agreed to engage in their ritual at the Shanti Bodhi Devalaya in Ambalangada. They requested that the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division be protected.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed the following views on the opposition.
The prices of coconuts have reduced. If they are smashing coconuts, they can smash around 1 million coconuts across the country by purchasing them from all over. Then comes a shortage of coconuts in the country. Then the price of coconuts increase. That mainly benefits those in the northwestern province. Do not smash 10 or 15 coconuts and do not steal coconuts from the government plantations. Smash coconuts against the UNP, it does not matter to us. However, make sure you purchase the 1 million coconuts. If you follow that, we will support you. Do not steal the coconuts from the government for this purpose. Is stealing coconuts a big thing for those who committed thievery from the God's nation? The youth in the country may support the UNP, JVP or the TNA or may not support anyone. They need to be given employment. We need to create 1 million jobs. I invite all to let go of the abandoned way of politics and join with everyone.
Keeping abreast on the related story, Minister of Women and Children's Affairs Chandrani Bandara expressed views regarding the ritual observed today by the opposition.
If you observe closely, you will see that the people who are shouting now are like crabs in a boiling pot. We will strengthen and carry forward this task of the FCID and bring everyone who was involved in fraud and corruption before the law. We can see the extent of corruption that is running through their veins. The coconuts that were collected for the ritual are illegally plucked coconuts. God will take care of them. God bless those who engage in the ritual with stolen coconuts.
Meanwhile, police said that they made 3 arrests following a complaint that was made citing that coconuts were illegally plucked from a state plantation in Udagama, Nagoda. The suspects are 2 employees at the Nagoda Pradesh Sabha and a servant of a local politician. Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Duminda Dissanayake, spoke on the activities of the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division at an event in Anuradhapura today.
I state with responsibility that when we were in the previous government, we were happy that the CSN was ours. We did not have a radio channel. We were happy. It is our responsibility to check the legal backdrop when establishing an institution. I saw through media that there is a talk going on that this was done to take revenge from Mahinda Rajapaksha and that this was done because Yosita Rajapaksha was Rajapaksha's son. Then we must ask, what about Nishantha Ranatunga? Arjuna Ranatunga was a person who worked to establish the current government. Why was his brother taken into remand custody? Because his brother was a member of the director board of that company.
Bribery Commission එක තියෙනවා. CID එක තියෙනවා.
The Bribery Commission is present. The FCID is present. There are many institutions such as this to inspect and punish someone if a wrong is committed. The question is regarding the FCID. We need to start somewhere and we need to end somewhere. I must state with responsibility that no minister is unhappy about corruption being investigated. This is something that is expected by the people of the country.
මේ රටේ ජනතාව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන කාරණාවක් ඒක.
Have we forgotten?
After the change in government, views were expressed that the former minister had failed to return to the state the official residences and vehicles enjoyed by them. The Ministry of Public Administration and Management confirmed that several former ministers had failed to return their official residences. A spokesperson for the ministry said that the period granted to return the official residences and vehicles had expired. Views in this regard were expressed at the cabinet media briefing in October last year. Among the former minister and MPs, there are some who have failed to return their official vehicles. We have decided to inform the police in this regard so they would seize them and return them to the state. I have no proper account on that.
Have we forgotten?
A person who served as a minister or deputy minister must let go of their official residences once their tenure is over. A grace period is given for that purpose. However, it's been a very long time since that grace period expires. Action must be taken to remove persons who have failed to vacate even after 13 months. The law needs to be enacted.
Have we forgotten?
Inspector General of Police N.K. Lanka commented on the Amlipite incident for the first time today.
The IGP expressed these views at an event to declare open a new ward complex at the police hospital in Kundasale.
Amlipite සිද්ධිය හේතු කොටගෙන පොලිසියට මෙනකොට විවිධ චෝදනා එල්ල වෙමින් පවතී.
A number of allegations are being levelled at the police forwarding the Emblepitia incident. I do not hope to make a detailed comment on the matter as it is being taken up in court. As the Inspector General of Police, I responsibly state that we act and will continue to act in accordance to our conscience. Even with regard to Emblepitia incident, we will act according to our conscience. If there is an officer found to have committed any wrong, we will not come forward to protect the wrongdoer, and we will never do so. If the general public is treated in an unjust manner by the police, we will never try to undermine that process or prevent it from being taken up before the law.
නීති හමුවට රැගෙන යාමෙන් වැළැක්වීමට හෝ අපි කිසි විටක සූදානමක්.
Well, now the report of the committee appointed to investigate the alleged kidney transplant racket was handed over to the minister yesterday. However, what actions or measures will be followed next? News First takes a closer look.
Indian media made a startling revelation about the kidney transplant racket, citing that 6 doctors from Sri Lanka were involved. A committee headed by Dr. Jayasundara Bandara was appointed to look into this, and the Minister of Health noted that facts that were included in the report have been directed to the Criminal Investigation Department. The Minister of Health announced that information had also been gathered via Interpol.
Not all 6 are doctors. However, none of them were involved in the transplants. It is clear that they were the middlemen. Investigations have revealed that those hospitals were involved in this. Yes, a person who held rank in the GMOA was involved. That does not mean that GMOA was involved.
Questions in this regard were also directed at Dr. Palitha Mahipala, Director General of Health Services. We will study the report, and based on the Minister's advice, we will be taking the required action. The primary investigations on the kidney transplant racket is now over. And what will be the next step?
This contains the primary findings. This is not a complete observation. We have made certain recommendations. The Minister decides on how the next round of investigations need to take place based on those recommendations.
Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajid Premadasa, expressed views regarding the reconciliation that has been established in the country.
A drinking water project in the Newtown area in Lundugamvehera was vested with the public under the patronage of Minister Sajid Premadasa.
There is no division between the north and the south now. This is one country. Everyone who lives in this country should join hands together. The Chief Minister, who previously had extremist ideas, is making various statements at the Nagaviharya in Nagadeepa that they are ready to work together. What was asked before? They said they will want a separate state by waging war. All those talks are no more. The unitary constitution remains the same. However, dear friends, we must take our government forward by giving priority to the nation. While making that, we protect the identity of each and every person.
Here's a look at more local news in brief.
A Pakistani national was arrested in Kolkata yesterday for possessing 1.10 grams of heroin. The suspect was produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrate today, and the magistrate granted permission to detain and interrogate the suspect until the 11th of this month. A car plying from Matharu to Colombo on the Southern Expressway had crashed in close proximity to the 92nd mile post after veering off the road. Police said that the driver of the car had lost control of the wheel. No one was injured in the accident.
Meanwhile, another leg of the awareness program in areas affected by wild elephant attacks took place in the Bandibaba area in Kakirawa today.
The event is organized by Newsfirst together with the Department of Wildlife Conservation. Residents from the Mahadivul Vava, Kirigas Vava, Kaluobe, Morogoda and surrounding villages attended the program. The locals were briefed on the measures that need to be followed to prevent from being attacked by a wild elephant.
මේ ගොවියන්ට තියෙන දුක ගැන කියන්න ඉන්න
I believe that the citizen media is the only institution that we farmers can raise our grievances to and obtain solutions from them.
පැහැදිලිවම ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Practical sessions also took place. A new hotline was introduced for the locals to immediately inform the Department of Wildlife Conservation on an elephant attack. The number is 1992. Handbills with instructions were also distributed.
Well, now you could also join in the conversation with us on the stories that is being aired. That is by following our Twitter handle, that is #@newsfirst_en. Well, a moment of happiness for us all Sri Lankans. Well, Sri Lanka won 4 gold medals at the 12th South Asian Games 2016 that got underway in India. Sports First brings you a comprehensive report on Sri Lanka's achievements at the 2016 South Asian Games. Well, with that, it's time for us to wrap up the weekend edition of Primetime News here on TV1 and Shakti TV. For the news team, I'm Joel Outskun. But before wrapping up, here's a reminder that you could keep abreast of all the trending stories on our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. Have yourself a great evening ahead. Take care.